Welcome to our All Started podcast in North Iowa. My name is Erick Nganyange. My special guest today is the VP of Mason City Chamber of Commerce, Allyson Krull. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Thanks for taking your time right after a long trip to Turkey.
Yes, we had an incredible trip to Turkey. Just got back, a week ago?
How long is that flight?
Well, we had a connection. So direct from Chicago to Istanbul was about 10 and a half hours.
Was that your first time in Turkey?
It was.
What did you get or what did you learn that was kind of shocking you did not know kind of existed? Because I think we sometimes are kind of sheltered. We don't know what's going on around outside the world.
Yeah, I think the most interesting thing that I took away from Turkey is just because of its geographic location in the world. So they call it, like, Istanbul is where East meets West, and it truly is. So Istanbul is a huge city. It's about 20 million people, but it spans across Europe and into Asia. So It's one city in two different continents, which is crazy if you think about it. So
20 million is a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
Wow.
And I'm trying to remember the exact number. I think there's so they are a secular country.
Yeah.
But like 94% of their population is Muslim. And there are 4,000 mosques just in Istanbul.
I mean, with 20 million people, yeah.
Yeah, I
can see that.
They're huge. They're huge. Yeah. But what's interesting about their position is they're really seen like in the world as this barrier. So they're protecting Europe from Asia and vice versa in any kind of conflict. So people really rely on them. So sometimes I kind of empathize for them because I felt like they're just not being used necessarily, but I mean, they're in the middle. Mm-hmm. So they've got kind of a big role to play. So yeah, it was very interesting. A lot of history. It's a very old country. So we visited a lot of historic sites and, the food was good and the people were great. And our travel group was excellent. And we didn't saw as much as we possibly could in the 12 days that we were there. So
it was 12 days.
Yeah. I mean, truly there 10 because we had a couple travel days on either end. But
that's true. Did you guys get a chance to visit in a mosque at all?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. So we went to the Blue Mosque, which is really popular and famous. And then we also went to the Hagia Sophia.
Okay. Did you guys change the dress code a little bit?
Yes.
Especially for women?
Yes. So women had to wear a headscarf into the mosque, and then you also had to remove your shoes.
And I think that's for all.
And that's for everyone.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah.
Yep.
When is the next trip, you guys? Because the trip was put together by Chambers, all right?
Yeah. So we've been traveling since 2012.
Okay.
And we call them global familiarization trips. And really it's to get, North Iowans, people from Iowa, anyone really interested in going out to see the world and other cultures. Because sometimes I think we live in an amazing place here in North Iowa, and I will choose to live here all day long, backwards and forwards. But really, sometimes it takes seeing other places around the world and understanding other cultures and people and their beliefs to not only just become empathetic to others and understand them, but then also to appreciate, where you live and where you come from.
Yeah.
So, and to understand business, like, really we are a global economy. So we've been doing it for a while. We usually do 2 trips a year.
Okay.
And we've kind of shifted with the times. There were a couple years in there where we weren't traveling with the pandemic and everything. But last year we did Peru. And then we had a break in the fall, and then we did this Turkey trip. So our next trip is actually domestic. We're going to go to the East Coast and kind of bridge a connection with our beautiful Frank Lloyd Wright Historic Park in here. Wright did a lot of work out east. And so in Pennsylvania and the Pittsburgh area, there's his most famous residential property, Falling Water. So it's actually like built on a waterfall. So the waterfall goes through the house. So there's some other properties out there at Kentuck Knob and Polymouth Park. So that's actually our next trip. So to again, kind of bridge the gap with the Frank Lloyd Wright design in the United States. So that trip is going in October. It's the October 9th through the 13th.
Okay.
And then we're just kind of starting to talk about our next international destination, which will be next spring.
Okay.
mid to end of March again.
Oh, okay. And this is open to the public, right?
They are, yep.
So it's like, and I'm assuming because you guys get a group rate, so it might be a little bit cheaper for people to jump in.
Yeah, that was one thing I was talking about with our passengers and thinking about too, just reflecting. It'd been a year since I had been somewhere internationally, and really the price is so good because you're with a group. Because if you just think about the flights alone, because we had, our big international flight over there, and then within Turkey we had a couple as well, and then your hotel is included and several meals and the entries to all of the places we went.
So all that stuff is inclusive. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, and on top of that, really, I think the thing that people like the most is that it's not only financially kind of all included, but you have a tour director with you, and you're getting the best of the best guides. You wake up and you go.
Yeah,
you don't have to waste any time or energy thinking about what's next or where you should go or waiting in line. None of that. So,
and there's that shared experience too.
Yes, and you meet such great people.
Yeah, because at least when you come back, you can have something to talk about.
Yeah.
What would you tell people? What's the purpose of the Chambers of Commerce?
Our mission really is just to promote economic growth and stability here in North Iowa, and to work with businesses to make sure they're thriving here. Okay.
And your position is the VP.
Yeah.
So the second in command we were talking about. Whenever Colleen is not here, probably things falls on your shoulder.
Yeah.
So what is your job basically as the VP? What are the things do you do here?
Yeah.
So you got IOM at the end of your name. I don't even know what that is.
It stands for Institute of Organization Management.
Okay.
So it's like a certification that's specific to nonprofits, chambers, and other nonprofits. So that particular certification is a 4-year stint, or you can fast track it, but it's usually a week of training for 4 years.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So all the chambers in every city kind of doing the same thing? That's kind of their mission? Or is they all different? Like, is our chambers here different than Clear Lake?
So when you go to, things on a national level or even a state level, if you know one chamber, you know one chamber. I would say we're all very different. So overarching, sure, we support business and economic growth, but we all have different focuses. So, ours is very like leadership and workforce driven. And that's to answer your question from before, that's where my role kind of comes into play. So I'm vice president, but of workforce and leadership development. So those are kind of my areas that I focus on. We also do events. So lots of chambers, especially smaller chambers, they do a lot of event-driven type activities. So they put on their, like 4th of July event and other community events. And I would say here in Mason City, at least, Main Street does a lot of those, and Visit Mason City, they do a lot of those types of activities, and we focus more on the business aspect at our chamber. Okay,
and the event is usually for let the community know, or kind of awareness. What the event? What are you guys trying to get out of doing the events? Like, what the end goal?
Yeah, so our events. So Kelby heads up our events, and just thinking about some of the things that he does. For example, the Ag Breakfast. So that is to connect kind of rural and urban together and focus on agriculture here in North Iowa. So it's all very educational. I feel like we've got a few things that are, more community wide, like our Moonlight Bike Ride. That's really just kind of a feel good, get everyone connected in the community, obviously promoting health and well-being because you're out biking. So we kind of hit different areas, but I would say for the most part, our events are kind of educationally based.
Okay. The leadership program you talked about a little bit here.
Yeah.
What is that all about?
So Leadership North Iowa, we meet for about 16 weeks, and that really is for up-and-coming business leaders in the community, just to kind of upskill them a little bit. And I bring in different folks in the community. So for example, I'll give you a couple of examples of our classes, but we typically meet once a week for these 16 weeks. And there's kind of 3 components, if you will. There's some tours of area businesses that are, critical to our North Iowa economy. And then there are like more class sessions. So we'll talk about how to work with different personality styles and those types of things. And then the third component is a project. So they do a service project or a project for community betterment every year. So those are kind of the three things that we focus on. And it really is for all experiences. So we've got participants who are fresh out of college and they are they're just starting to kind of dip their toe into leadership. And then we have got some people that have, higher leadership roles. But it's a really great opportunity. I think usually when we do reviews at the end, the thing that people get out of it most is, again, those connections that you make, the networking experience. You're with these folks every week on a consistent basis for an hour and a half to 2 hours. And you really get to build those relationships.
Mm-hmm. Community is a big deal for you. Why is that? Because I think constantly you're talking about community development, community connection.
Yeah, we do talk about that a lot, don't we, Erick?
Yeah, because why is community a big deal? Community development, community improvement, community building.
Yeah.
Everything seems like is with you is evolving around community. And maybe you don't even see it, but I see it's like everything is community.
I think especially this job has made me realize just how important it is. I work with workforce attraction and retention, and I go to these seminars and I hear these things and I see these stats, and really it doesn't come down to necessarily I forget the exact statistic, but people have to be happy overall in order to be happy at work too. It's not just like they could love what they're doing at work, but if they're not happy in their community or at home, it's a full picture. So I think about it like that. So when someone moves here, which we'll talk about in a little bit about the community concierge, but when we're looking to get people to move here, I think that's just something special that we have in North Iowa is I think we have a great sense of community. And if you can get connected to your passions and people that have similar interests, then it really just paints a broader picture. And I think will make people want to stay at their job and want them to get involved and those types of things. So I guess for me, that's kind of why I enjoy it and have such a passion for it. I'm from the area and we did our stint in Des Moines for a while, and that was super fun, and I'm glad we did that. But
did you? You guys lived in Des Moines for a little bit? Okay.
So I went to school at Iowa State, and then we were in Des Moines for another 5 years or so after that.
Okay.
And I loved my job there as well. And I was very lucky. I worked for the Iowa State Fair, and it was so fun, and it was great. And then we started our family. My husband he farms. And so he was kind of commuting back and forth. And I was like, well, this isn't going to work long term. And so, I'm going to be completely frank with you. I kind of left kicking and screaming a bit because I loved my job. And I was like, why are we moving? But then I thought about the bigger picture and I wouldn't change it for anything. Like we've got, and not everyone has that, but like I've got both of our families are here. And so my kids know their grandparents and all of those fun things. But I also want to encourage people, because that's not everyone's story. And like, we certainly want more than just people who have ties here to move here, but then they can build their own community here and their own ties that hopefully that once they establish here, then their kids will want to come back here type of thing. So.
Oh yeah. Explain to the people, what is the community concierge thing and why are you guys doing it? What is important so far doing the whole thing?
Yeah. So we started to give you a little history. We started the community concierge service. I think we're going into our 8th year now. So It's been around for a little while. It was kind of a quiet launch, and now is when we're really starting to talk about it because we've been talking about it here and there, and people are like, "Oh, I had no idea." And we're like,
I did not know until I think last year probably.
Yeah. And so I'm like, well, that's a problem. Like we need to get the word out. So what it is it's a service that we provide here at the chamber, and it's to build those, like what we've been talking about, to build those connections. So when someone comes in for a job interview and they don't know anything about Mason City, say they're moving, people move from all over the place to come here. So because of, and this is how it started, but we've certainly branched out from here, but we have a regional hospital. So a lot of our physicians and medical staff are not from Iowa. They're not from North Iowa. They're from different countries. They're from across the United States. So how do we get them to come here and stay here? Like, yes, there's a job here, but like we talked about before, is that enough to keep someone here? Even if you love your job, if you don't love the community and love the life you're building here, then you can get a job anywhere.
Yep.
You can move in anywhere. So we worked with the hospital, and I would say, well, they're our largest
Employer,
partner.
I think,
They're our largest employer for sure. And they really utilize our service quite frequently because they've realized this connection. They go to all this effort to recruit someone to come here. And then if they only stay a year, then they start all over again. So what can we, kind of got our heads together and thought, what can we do? What can we do to try to help people see what it is that we see and why we love it here, and get them to also see those things and want to stay. So that's kind of how it all started.
You basically do like employee retention.
Yeah,
type of
that
thing.
too. Yeah. So yes. So we say recruitment and retention, but really how it's been structured in the past is the employer kind of recruits them here, but we hope to kind of seal the deal.
Yeah.
So if they're looking at, a lot of these candidates, especially medical candidates, they're looking more than one place. So if we can give them just a little bit extra attention and a little bit extra service when they come here, then hopefully they pick us over somewhere else. Like, oh, those people were really nice. Or, oh, I could see my kids going to this school that we just toured.
Yeah.
So then to kind of explain the service, we provide, with every referral, we provide a community tour. Mm-hmm. So again, when you're coming and you're interviewing, a lot of times you go into the building or the business you're interviewing in, you sit in a conference room, you have an interview, and then you're on your way.
Yep.
But we build in, it's just an hour and a half, but we will pick them up from their interview or wherever they are in their process, and take them around our community. And we do both Mason City and Clear Lake because we really do market this as North Iowa. And we strongly believe that we are better together. So yes, we are two different cities, but we've got great business here and retail, and Clear Lake's got great recreation. And we also have we both have great amenities, but why not sell it together? Because they're 8 miles apart.
Once they see the water in Clear Lake, it's done deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So we take them around and point out our highlights of our community. We show them neighborhoods that maybe they could see themselves living in. I do send them like a survey in advance to see and I ask them questions that, maybe an HR person is not allowed to ask them. So since I'm not at all related to the employment process, I'm not, I ask them, do you have any, and it's voluntary, but do you have any kids? Are you looking for a faith community? Are you looking to get involved with a volunteer organization? Those types of questions.
You get personal.
Yes.
With what they like and what they value, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then that way, when I meet them, I've got a little bit of information about them, and then we can show them those things in our community. So a lot of times they've got children, they'll want to tour our schools that their kid might go to. So then
you arrange that with the school, and then
So then we just kind of build that in. So it's usually like 15 minutes or to a half an hour. So we'll just build it into our tour. So as we're passing said school, then we will stop there, meet with the administrators. They'll give them a tour of the school, talk about any of the curriculum, any questions, and then we'll go about the rest of our tour. So yeah, just pointing out our community highlights. I have a variety of things. We've stopped at gyms before, like if fitness is a big thing that they're into. We've stopped at daycares. My favorite, and I'll tell this again next week when we have our session, but I've stopped at a garage sale. I mean, we make whatever stops people want to make. I have. She was like, is that a garage sale? I was like, it is. And she's like, can we stop? I'm like, sure. I'm like, sure we can. So we did. So we take them around and get to know them a little bit and remind them that, this is free space, like relax, and whatever we can do to assist in a potential move.
Okay.
And then after we kind of communicate then with our business to see if they indeed are going to hire them, because businesses use it differently. So most of the time it's on the front end, but we have another employer who does it after they've hired. So it's like, hey, we've hired this person. We want you to show them around so they can feel like they're going to fit in.
I like that.
So yeah, we can do it however people want to utilize it. Our bottom line is we just want to try to forge these lasting connections in our community so they'll want to stay.
Good. How many employers, because that can be real good thing. How many employers in town you have them involved with this process? 10, 15, 20?
Nope. It's been it's fewer. So I would say through the years, maybe up to 10.
Okay.
But we have, the hospital and Mason City Clinic, they use it on a regular basis. So weekly, they will have people that they're recruiting. Cargill, Smithfield, Curry's, they've all utilized it as well. So some of our larger organizations, but it really is for everyone. And typically it's because there is a cost associated with it. So,
there's a cost to employer?
Yep.
Okay.
So, and we will do a complimentary consultation with anyone. I mean, I'll happily sit down and talk to you about your interests and how I can get you connected. But as far as like doing the tour and then the wraparound services after, like helping you find housing and all of those pieces that come with it, then there's a fee.
Okay. So there's fee to do all that, which makes sense because it takes a lot of time out of you guys' day. If, let's say I'm coming in, I don't want to do a tour. But I just want you to give me the pamphlet like, oh, hey, here's my passions. This is the things I like to do. This is what my kids like to do. Can you just guide me? Where do I need to go? I'll drive around myself.
Yeah.
So you guys have that option as well.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep. Probably fewer people that opt to do that, but certainly can. Yeah. Absolutely.
I think most people, once they hear, they probably, there's a free tour. My employer's paying for it. Yeah. Let's go. Okay, so the process starts with the employers, and then employer let you guys know, hey, we got somebody here. Before you start giving them tour and take them to different places, do you kind of send them some information to ask them like, what do you care? What do you value? What are your passion? What are the things you want to know?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's when we send them that survey. So I send them kind of an introductory email and say, if you have time and want to look, like here's a video of our community. Here's our relocation guide if you want to flip through it. And then if you've got a minute, take the survey. And again, in that survey, then they would indicate kind of their interests. Yep. And then I would meet with them when they come on whatever day it is that they're having their tour, take them around. And then we'll usually send like a recap and say, and any follow-up. So they'll ask me questions on tour. And a lot of times it's about housing. That's usually our biggest obstacle that we're dealing with. But we're making strides there in the housing. And sometimes I would say that's the number one question. They're like, I don't need a tour. Just help me find a house or help me find an apartment. And so then we help them with that.
So is housing still, because I know we are building a couple places, so housing is still the issue a little bit for new people coming in?
Yeah, it's just availability.
Okay.
But we're getting there because we're putting up all these, I feel like a lot more downtown housing units. Yeah. They fill up really quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing is, and I completely understand this, when people move here for a job, they want to rent first.
Yep.
And then buy later, of course. I mean, that makes sense. So, and then, I am not a realtor, and therefore I refer anyone looking for a house, I just refer to our realtors. But it's hard. That's hard too, because you never know what's going to be on the market at any given time and if it fits exactly what they're looking for. So we don't have a ton of inventory currently. So, but I know like the EDC is doing some really good work in the housing realm, and we're making strides. So we can usually get them some short-term housing until they can find something a little more permanent.
So those are the only things you're doing with the community concierge?
Those are the main pieces, yes. So then just like any follow-up questions. So, I mean, I'll kind of outline it. So there's the tour, and then we also help with, if your spouse is moving here but needs help finding employment, we can help, kind of pass around a resume, talk to people we know that have job openings. So we can help with that piece.
Oh, okay.
Again, we kind of already talked about the schools, but connecting them to the schools to make sure they've got everything they need there. We've talked about rental housing. And then, of course, we'll make referrals. So if they say, and we are the chamber, so we've got those contacts on hand. But if they're like, where should we go to the dentist? Like, well, here's a list of our chamber member dentists. They're all great. Take a look at these. Yeah. And then the new piece, and then also, if any volunteer opportunities, and then, I just kind of leave it open-ended. If there's anything you can think of before you move here, and then I'll reach out to them again, like once they've signed a contract and are ready to move, the employer will usually give me their move date or their employment start date. So then I can, right before they come, say, all right, I know you're getting ready to head our way. What else do you need?
Yeah.
Type of thing. And then if you're ready for it, a new piece that we're implementing that has the past year or so, we've kind of been developing it and getting the word out there, but is our North Iowa Navigator.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, North Iowa Navigator program. So that's just taking all of this a step further. So we do a lot, like chamber staff does a lot on the front end. So I kind of coordinate the program. Actually, just again, history. Colleen started this years ago. And then as roles changed, then it kind of fell under my wing. So I've only been doing it personally, like in charge of it for a couple of years. But everyone, we're a team here and everyone helps. So I can't give every tour, and nor maybe should I. I mean, we want to make sure if we try to match up any interests with our staff too. So if it's, a young single person, maybe Kelby, because Kelby's young and single.
Yeah.
Or if it's, someone with kids, then maybe me. So it just kind of depends on the candidate who we think would be a good fit too, and schedules. But the navigator piece is kind of the after.
Okay.
So currently how it's set up, certainly people can reach out to them before, but in my mind, how it's working is we will help get them here. Once they're here, then again, how do we make sure they're not
stay in the house?
Yes, just going to work, coming home, going to work, coming home, and then they say, oh, there was nothing to do here, so we're going to move on.
Yeah.
So that's where the navigators come in. And what it is, the program is a group of volunteers, highly vetted, and there is an application process, of course, but really cheerleaders for our community that really do love it here and want to show people why and can connect them to their interests and serve as that networking piece. Like I always use running. I don't know why I use running as an example, but like say this person that's moving here loves running and wants to get involved in a running club, then we can connect them to a navigator who also maybe loves running, or at least knows someone who loves running and can say, I don't love running, but I know Bob loves running and I think you should meet Bob. Let's all go have coffee together. And so they're just that extra step, I think, to help connect people to our community. And it's not just the chamber doing that. It's true volunteers who really love our community. And Erick is a new navigator, so that's exciting.
Yes, and you know what I love about this? It's not just for the new people comes in. It's just tapping for the current people that have been here long enough.
Yeah, for sure.
And then they say like, oh, there's nothing to do here. It's like, it sucks. And I think the problem with that is like, people have not tapped into their passion, maybe their purpose. So that's why all they do is just go to work, come home, go to work, come home, and they don't leave the house. So I think the fact that you guys put that things together, you just put that thing together, I was excited about it. And it's like, man, there's nothing better than have people's passion and they meet other people with the same passion. It's like, imagine that. It's like you got 10 people all love to read and they all want to volunteer at the elementary school.
Yeah.
It can have huge impact. I love the fact I'm part of that.
I love that you're going to do it. I love it.
It's like I love anytime I got to connect people with their passion, man, I'm on it.
And to your point, and that piece is for anyone. So you don't have to have gone through the community concierge program to take advantage of a navigator. It is for anyone, and that's free. It's just, again, us helping make a connection. And I think that's something inherently, like that's what chambers do, is we're connectors.
Connect people.
We connect people, we connect business, we connect all sorts of things. And maybe that's why I love my job so much, because I like connecting people. But so that is for anyone, and that's on our website. And we have a form you can fill out if you want to connect with someone. So we've got short bios about each of our navigators. Right now, I think we have 5. So we're looking to grow that too. So if people are interested in becoming a navigator, I can certainly get them that information. But then on the website, it has kind of a bio about them and then kind of their areas of expertise, if you will, or what they really are passionate about in the community. So folks can look at that and say, oh, I would love to meet and talk to Erick. And then I'll coordinate that so you can meet.
I think that's that's a good thing, and I don't know why we did not do that a long time ago.
Yeah, my biggest pet peeve is when people are like, there's nothing to do here. There's so much to do. You just have to find it.
Yeah. And those probably will be the same people if they move anywhere.
Right.
There's nothing to do.
Right.
Yeah, it's almost like we want somebody else to tell us what to do.
Yeah. Hey, we're here for it. So if anyone needs something to do, Eric or I are happy to help you find what it is.
Yeah, we'll just ask you a few questions. It's like, yeah, what are you doing all day long? And then we'll find something for you to do.
I mean, I really feel like we have everything here. We do. Like, maybe you don't know about it. Like, if you sit and play Xbox all day, great. I'm certain that there's a gaming club.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's a club for everything.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's probably maybe one of the things that we need to start pushing people into doing. Oh, not pushing. That's not a good word. Encouraging people to do it. It's like, join a club.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no club for this because I like to do this. Start one. Yeah, it's just that simple. Because anytime I hear people say, oh, I like to do this, but nobody else is doing in town, I'm like, I bet you they are.
Or we'll find someone else who has a similar idea or interest, and the two of you can do it together.
Oh, yeah. Open up the club, and trust me, people will show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I like that. I like the North Iowa Navigator thing. Anything else in the realm of the community, or it's just those are the biggest two you guys are doing? I mean, you are doing community concierge and then
I would
North Iowa Navigator.
Mm-hmm, I would say maybe a third piece, but a little bit separate, is just our overall building community initiative. And it all wraps into all of this, right? Like, we just want we want North Iowa, Mason City, Clear Lake, surrounding areas. We want it to be a place where people want to come, visit, live, stay. And so what does that look like? So we've been kind of talking about that for a couple of years now. Like, what can we do? And we've really used a lot of like, what can we do to be more welcoming? So I feel like sometimes when you are from a smaller community, it feels like there are cliques or there are, because people have lived here a long time and they grew up here, so they already know people. Mm-hmm. So it's easy.
Yeah. And that's part of the community building thing that you've been doing.
Yes. Yeah. So, what does that look like? How can we be more welcoming? And what does that look like? And how can we make sure everyone feels welcome and like they belong here? So we've done some work around that. And Eric was at one of our events. I think it went great. He was our keynote, and we got a lot of great response. And it was just fun because it was just open, honest, candid conversations. And we intend on hosting more of those with different focuses. I think we'll do it twice a year as kind of our plan. Okay. And so we haven't not planned the next one, but we're thinking in August we'll do something similar. Maybe a more directed topic. Okay. But yeah, it was just kind of a fun format, something a little out of the ordinary. But what was so cool about it, my main goal, and I honestly was surprised and very happy, but it was people that we don't see all the time. So we have an amazing chamber member community, and they're so supportive. But it was nice because in addition to all of those folks who normally support us, it was folks who didn't even know what the chamber was or what we did. And they were like, oh my gosh.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you. Thank you. But they're like, I had no idea the chamber did stuff like this. And I was like, all right, we're on the right track. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of our other piece, I would say, is just our overall, and this falls underneath that umbrella of just making our community stronger.
When you hear the word community building, what's the first thing goes through your mind?
I mean, one word, people. Okay. That's what goes through my mind. But okay. You probably want me to elaborate on that, huh?
I mean, if you want to. We're on a podcast.
It's not just short answer. Okay. I just think it all comes down to people. Everything does. And again, why do I have my job? The people. Mm-hmm. What do I think makes a community? The people. So we can have all the infrastructure, all the amenities, But
Yeah.
if the people aren't kind and open and welcoming, I don't think the other stuff matters as much.
And if people are not connected,
Yeah.
that's another big
Oh, yeah.
thing.
Connection.
Connection, I think, is the biggest thing. Anything else anything you want people to know?
I think it just, again, comes back to the chamber as a connector.
Yeah.
Like when you first asked me, like, what does the chamber do?
Yeah.
That should have been my answer, because we talk about that all the time. That's what we don't have all the answers. Like, we certainly try. Like, I feel like our staff, like, we are doers. I feel like people do come to us when they want a problem resolved, because we work really hard to make sure we can accommodate and, be problem solvers. But end of the day, we can't fix and do everything, but we will certainly connect you to resources and people who will.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the network of people you surround yourself with is so important. And that's not just locally, that's statewide, nationally. And I've had a lot of great opportunity to do that. So it's just good to be able to lean on people in your industry, whatever that is, across industries.
Mm-hmm.
But just, I guess, the message for the people is...
We are the plug.
We are. Like, we're the connectors. So if you need anything, really, truly, we can connect you to whatever that is and help you find it.
Okay. So this may be the first place people can call, like, hey, I want to start a business.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do I go about doing that?
And I'd say you should call the Nyack Papa John Center. That's exactly what they do. So we can talk to you more about that, but we get that question a lot. We get a lot of business questions, of course, because we're the chamber, and that's the kinds of, and we get all sorts of questions, and we'll get you that. People call and ask for phone numbers. We'll look that up for you. Sure thing. I mean, I'm trying to think of like a really good random question that we've gotten before.
Yeah. Cause I mean, sometimes I will sit back and be like, oh, I need to find out about this, but I also have advantage. I know a lot of different people that I can just shoot them text message like, hey, who should I talk to about this? But I'm thinking if somebody's new, and let's say they want to start business right in the mall, but they don't know if the space is still available. Who do they call? Is there something they can reach out to chambers and you guys can guide them who to talk to?
Absolutely.
Okay. This building, are you guys allow public to have meetings and stuff like that in here?
So, the chamber is a member-based organization.
Okay.
So we certainly give priority to our members.
Yeah.
That's just our business. So as long as you work for a chamber member business, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And how would I know I work for chamber members business?
You do.
Yeah. I know I do, but how would somebody know? Somebody do.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Maybe it's not communicated great,
The reason I know because I see the bill.
Well, right, you're accounting, sure. I mean, I guess that's something that is something that lately I have been really cognizant of is we have, which makes sense. We don't need to know every single person necessarily at every business to be in contact with, but I urge all of our chamber members, and especially our primary contacts that we communicate with a lot, to share all this information to all of your employees. So the building community stuff, that's free. I mean, there's no charge. Some of our events are during the day, so it would require some flexibility for folks to leave their job to come to our programming, but it's for all chamber members. It's not just for senior leadership. It's for everyone.
Everybody, yeah.
So I guess to your question, I would encourage employers to make sure their employees know that they're members and to please pass along our information, because again, I feel like our program really hits every level of your professional development, whether that's you're just starting out or you're an hourly worker or you're a salary employee or whatever that is. We have resources and information and education for everyone. So I've been trying to communicate a little more broadly because, an email, if we only send to one person in an organization of 300 people and that one person doesn't want to attend, that's okay. But then, who isn't finding out about it? So I would just encourage everyone to let their employees know that they are chamber members and that we have a lot available.
Yeah.
But then you can always call and ask.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're wanting to rent our space, because we have some beautiful office space, like our third floor event room is beautiful. And a lot of people will call and ask about it. And then we'll say, do you belong to a chamber member business? And they're like, I don't know, I work for so-and-so. And it's like, well, yes, you do. They're like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
So
How many siblings you got?
I just have one sister.
Just one sister.
And guess what?
Oh.
She's moving back to the area.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Where was she
Gonna
living
take
at?
full credit. She was in Des Moines.
Oh, okay. Oh, good for her. Is she older, younger than you?
She is older than me.
Good for her. How long did she live in Des Moines?
A long time.
Okay.
I mean, we'll say 15 years.
Okay. What changed her mind?
I mean, obviously she wanted to be closer to me. Why is that funny?
Close to you?
So
your
family.
Oh, your kids.
Yes. So she works remotely now. She got a new job and she's been working remotely for about a year.
Okay.
And so then her husband was ready to kind of move on too. So he was kind of looking up in this area, and that was the kind of the goal. And unfortunately, like his family, his parents had passed away. And so his stepmom still lives in Texas, but they're much farther away. So Ashley's like, why? Let's like move closer to my parents and my family. And so he was game. And so he actually got a job in Charles City working for Zoetis, I believe. And so anyways, it took him a little while to find housing up here, but they're actually going to be living in the Clear Lake area.
Okay.
Yep.
What do you see? I'm sure you envisioned this.
Oh boy.
5, 10, 15 years of this concierge thing, community building, North Iowa navigation. How do you want this thing to play out? What's the vision look like?
So my initial reaction is really boring, but I'll elaborate. So my initial thought is population growth.
Oh,
so like
okay.
our population's been declining for years and years. And actually, I think I just heard the mayor, right? He just gave a report not too long ago that it's gone up like for the first time in years. I don't think by a drastic amount, but it's gone up a little bit. And so that is, I feel like our inherent problem, like we have a people problem as far as population. So we have all these, like we can bring all these huge businesses here, but we need to have people to work the jobs. So, and we can build houses, but we need to have people to live in the houses.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
My boring answer is a growth in population. But like my more heartfelt, fluffy answer is, just like bustling streets with people and they're happy and like everyone is just on the same team and proud to be from North Iowa. And instead of, here we go. On Rant and Rave, everything's raving and there's no ranting. Everyone is just, again, like everyone has a choice where they live and where they work. And so I just want that to be positive. So I like to think that North Iowa is for everyone, but if you don't want to live here, I guess that's okay too. But that would be my pipe dream, is that like everyone living here truly wants to be here and invested in the community and we're thriving and yeah.
Yeah. If you don't like to be here, you don't need to trash it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can just exit quietly.
Right. I don't really want anyone to move away, but, but like be proud of where you're from. You get that choice. So why not enjoy it and be proud of it and brag about it a little?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I like that though. Population growth. Well, that's all I have, man. I think unless if you have something else you want to throw in there.
No, I feel like Eric, I could talk to you all day, but
yeah,
I suppose it is Friday and you probably want to go at some point, but no, it's been such a pleasure. I love, hopefully it shows that I really am passionate about my work and I love this community and I will do whatever I can to spread the feelings and hopefully others will join in. And again, if anyone wants to help in the effort and become a navigator or even unofficially, just like give me a buzz and say, hey, if you ever have anyone interested in XYZ, give me a call. Yeah. That's great too. So,
and you guys can be reached easily on your website or you can just Google, make a phone call.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, you're easily to be reached. Thank you very much. And I know me and you are going to be seeing each other a lot.
Yep.
And I'm excited about this navigator thing.
Me too.
So it'll be fun. Yeah.
Thanks so
Allyson.
much. Thank you.
Yep.